Hey everyone, it's Libby from Meister Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the ancestors past, present and future and welcome to you, your guides, my guides and the universal energies. And yes, that was a butterfly that flew past. Very, very lovely. Okay, entertainment only. Today is Monday, back on deck. And what a weekend of events happening. Okay, where on earth do I start? Well, I do start with a few little snippets of the day which I thought were quite amusing. I'm going to start using the term drunk as a raccoon when I'm talking about Keg's breath. Apparently, saw a little thing slip past my social media. I haven't been able to confirm it, saying that the FIFA board didn't know about the consolation prize. You know, the chocolate-covered gold foil medal that the Orange Twerp couldn't snatch out of the box fast enough, and now Qatar are wondering if they overspent on their bribery. I haven't been able to confirm that the FIFA board didn't actually know that it was in the works until it was already underway. Fox, yes, you know you're in trouble when Fox starts turning on you. Fox Entertainment screened it was around a little bit, but the fact that, a few different stations, but the fact that Fox actually screened it is quite defining. The Coast Guard, apparently there was a drug smuggling boat that was coming in. They shot the engine out, which caused it to stall in the water, and then the Coast Guard pulled up and took the drugs and took the people away. So, that's how it's supposed to be done. Okay, what I want to have a look at in this particular reading is the National Security Council report that's come out. Now, which deck do I want to use? Okay, they're telling me to use the Gilded Tarot Royale. The National Security Report. Now, I post a lot, if you haven't found it, on my post section. A lot of little snippets, because in all honesty, there is not enough hours in the day to actually read and bring to you via video everything that needs to be brought forward. So if you go to Meister Tarot under any video or click on the pink circle, it'll take you to the main page. Go into the post section, and I've posted the National Security Report in there, and the fact that in response, the EU has threatened to sell their US government debt. So I haven't really noted down a lot. You can go and read the article and you can find the report yourself if you want. Heather Cox Richardson also did a really, really good blurb on the report itself. Quite long, so I didn't share it, but you can go and find that as well. But basically, it's the report came out and said, well, all countries in the world should stop immigration because they're losing their culture, not realizing that the culture comes from a lot of the immigration. I mean, in Australia, I'm in New Zealand at the moment, but in Australia, we love our pizza, we love our Chinese, we love our Thai food, we love our communities that come out and share their cultures and the festivals that they have, and I come from immigrants too, so even the grey meat and three boiled veg culture came from somewhere to start with as well. And it wasn't from the First Nations people. And the First Nations people in Australia, their culture is coming back incredibly strong and true. It was very touristy for a long time, but it's coming back true as well. Yeah, so there is strength in immigration and strength in all these cultures to coming together in a joyful melting pot. Anyhow, so the National Security Report basically demanded that the entire world stop immigrations, in other words, the EU, etc. It was a very anti-EU report and very pro-Russia now. So, yeah, we've got the world card there as well. So basically they were trying to, implement the regime I'm talking about, Project 2025, Project 2026 forward, all the rest of it, trying to overlay their beliefs onto the rest of the world. Okay, so, and then what card do I see? Which one was it? Oh, I can't. Anyhow, it was the Five of Wands popped out at me there. So, and it was a very pro-Russia report as well. Basically said, we need to stop being friends with the Europeans and we need to realign ourselves with Russia. Now, my guides have been saying forever that this regime would in some way come out and support Russia. I mean, wonder where those drones that went to Saudi Arabia actually ended up. One's being shot down, and the Ukraine have made in USA on certain parts of them. But wasn't sure. I thought it was equipment. It is money. I'm just going to say there is money being funneled through, is my feels. But now the regime have come out, and there's no hiding behind closed doors anymore. They've basically said they're they're pro Russia, and how's it going to go for them? I don't think it's sorry about the light. I don't think it's going to go very well for them at all. I'm not home, in case you knew and haven't realised. I'm at my mother's, caring for my mother while she goes through treatment at the moment. Yeah, it's out front and centre. Now, I have tried closing the blind, in case you're wondering. Doesn't make any difference to the quality of light. So what you see is what you get. Okay, so let's have a look. The pro. How's this going to go? It frustrates me as an outsider looking in that people aren't on the streets protesting about this every weekend by the millions. I'm not talking about, the couple of dribby-drabby ones. And to be honest, we're just exhausted. But what's happened is that over the decades, this sort of behaviour has been swept under the carpet. It'll be right, it'll be right. And each time it gets swept under, the lump gets bigger and bigger and bigger until there's just no hiding it anymore. Okay, let's have a look. How is this report going to be received? It was delivered in the dead of night, quietly slipped into the documentation from the White House. Normally there's big fanfare because normally it's a celebration moment, but not this time. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, thank you. They're just telling me to say, what is the future of this regime's National Security Council report? Very pro-Russia, very anti-Europe. Just want to mention as well, sorry, 8 minutes and I'm still waffling, with the drones that arrived in the airspace where Zelensky's plane had already passed because he was arriving early. Yeah, he needs to not broadcast. He absolutely needs to not broadcast his flight plans, etc. Australia has developed, because what happened, apparently there was a submarine that was protecting the flight path, but the submarines, they have big missiles and they don't have the anti-drone technology on board. I think what's going to happen is that European countries are going to send fighter jets with him in the future. But Australia's actually developed and is selling to, I believe, Ukraine, or supplying to Ukraine, because we supplied a lot of the Bushmasters as well. We do supply a lot of free equipment to Ukraine. A portable can go on the back of a utility, or what you guys, I think in the US, call a pickup. Very mobile, anti-drone laser gun. I'm just putting it out there. I think I posted in my post section a while back. Very mobile, very compact, and it's good for, several hundred shots without even being plugged in. So I think a lot of the countries are going to start bringing in this more flexible, cheaper mobile technology instead of the big stuff. Okay, so what's the future of the National Security Report? Not how it's going to be received, but the future of it itself. Okay. Using the Gilded Tarot Royale. The Six of Cups. Going back to the past, well, the report's very much going back to 1930s Germany, isn't it? Not 1940s Germany, 1930s Germany. And that's something really interesting too. The Europeans, it may seem like an overreaction, but the Europeans have had their lands invaded. Massive wars. I'm not talking about the little skirmishes that happened in the Middle Ages and things like that. I'm talking about World War I, World War II. They had their lands invaded. They had to fight from door to door for the land that they live on. They understand the dangers of this combat. Now, the US, and I'm not having a go at you guys, I'm just saying the US has not really had an invasion of their lands, unless you're First Nations, and you would completely understand then. You've not had a foreign entity attack and occupy your land. So, yeah, there's a lot of naivety about this report, but it's also it talks about pretty much, if you read between the lines, it talks about women being forced into marriage barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, and squeaky white supremacy. If you read between the lines, that's what it talks about. So, yes, there's a lot of naivety in this report, but it's also wanting to go back to an illusion time. Just put it out there. Yeah, we've got the emperor, the dictator, my way or the highway. Now, I'm just going to say, does that look like Stephen Miller? The orange twerp did not write this report. His dementia is on full-blown display. Somebody who had to read from a piece of paper the countdown from 5 to 1 for turning on the Christmas lights at some whatever it was, snatching the shiny gold thing out of the case, full-blown, absolutely on display. But yeah, this is Miller and his cronies behind this report. Now, Miller, if you have a look at him and look at his past history, I think a few have read on him. Melissa from Free Range Tarot read on him ages ago. Goebbels in a past life. Full-blown Goebbels. So, yeah, the Emperor. However, we've got the sun at the base here. It fully exposes this regime as to what side of the aisle they are on, what side of history they are on. The energy that they're stewing in, they've put it out there. Will the people accept it? The Europeans aren't very happy. I'm asking about the report itself. In the past, we've got the Three of Cups, the allies, the circles of support, the areas of the world, the global areas of the world being friendly. It's in the past. It's done. Sorry, US, it's going to take you a while to rebuild. Gosh, 3 major arcana is a through line. Crowning this reading is the Hermit. Again, very similar to the Sun, clearly shining a light on the snake in the path, and isolation. This report was also very much about the US isolating itself from the rest of the world. So the snake in the path is forcing the US, and I'm really drawn to the fact that this hermit is wearing tattered clothing. I don't really notice this sort of thing. He's just the hermit, but the clothing is tattered. It is to the poverty of the United States. This isolation is what I'm getting there. Now, I hate to say it, but the US, I suspect, is very much in a recession. Recession is 2 quarters of negative growth, heading for a depression. And that's why the regime is not releasing the job figures and the GDP figures, etc., because you know how they work. If you don't release the figures, then they don't exist. And you can say what you want to fill the gap in, which is what he's doing. Yeah, prices are down, inflation is down. Yeah, but the reality on the ground, that's not what the reality on the ground is. You can say it as much as you like, but the truth of the matter is that the US, put money on it, is in a recession. Warren Buffett sold the majority of his shares over the last few months and has cashed up. Big indicator of how, and he's a smart cookie. So just be aware, now is the time to build your communities, source options for food, whether it's starting a little group and bulk buying direct from farmers or from Costco, because if you buy in bulk from Costco, you can get cheaper prices. Start growing your own if possible, even if it's, just a tomato vine and a pot in the corner of the lounge room or something, and some herbs on the windowsill. It's time to really start building communities, sourcing local food pantries if you can, or local food kitchens, and the money that you would have spent on that particular meal or that particular item, put it aside, because this is the direction we're heading in at the moment. But this is the here and now. So the poverty of the United States through I can't get that word out. Isolation, isolating itself. The snake is in the path, deliberately there. It's Miller and his ilk absolutely behind this, taking control, dictatorship control, underestimating the people, as they always do. And this report is fully exposing allies in the past. Right, going forward though, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. Looking at the last puzzle piece. Okay, thank you. I'm just getting this is one of the last puzzle pieces that they want to implement. The immediate future hasn't been placed yet. Okay, externally, we've got the Queen of Cups, a female leader that is not yet revealing. This could be Ursula von Leyen. I don't really go on the star signs because, moon and ascending are even more powerful than the actual sun sign in working out your astrology. But powerful female, inspirational female leader, bringing forth diplomatic, calm information. But I'm really drawn to the flowers around her wrist. Don't know if that will focus on it. I don't know what those flowers are. They are glowing to me. They look like lilies of some sort, but I'm not sure what they are. So if you know what they are and know their significance, please let me know, because those flowers are literally glowing at me. Okay, internally, King of Wands. So we've got a Queen and a King. Could be legislators standing up to it, but I'm not feeling hopeful about this. This feels overseas. So I'm wondering if historically it's been my Mark Rutte card, but it might be Starmer, because the UK, so we're looking at the EU, 1.6 trillion. If they add in what the UK holds, it's 2.3 trillion. So this might be EU UK pushing back. Okay. The hopes and fears, those that are, living a life of luxury and well off, etc., not listening, not hearing, don't care. They're okay. Give someone on a poverty level $600 and they will spend the entire lot on necessities. Give someone with, a couple of $1 billion, an extra $600, and, they'd wouldn't even spend, they'd spend that plus more on a bottle of champagne. You know what I'm getting at there. Okay, the outcome. Ace of Pentacles. Huge opportunity. Huge opportunity is being presented here. And it may be new financial I'm going to ask if they're actually going to pull the trigger, because Japan threatened earlier this year until the orange twerked back down on stuff in regards to Japan. Japan holds the biggest amount of US debt, followed by China, but the EU at and UK at 2.3 trillion is no laughing matter. Triggering a new financial how do I put this? Reset. Strength in the EU, perhaps, in the Euro, perhaps. Let's see where this goes. So the outcome, Ace of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, and then the Ten of Cups. Unity, diversity, coming together, working together. A lot of information. And then we've got this, be careful what you wish for, with the Nine of Cups. And then the Ten of Wands. I actually heard last night, not via news or anything, my guides told me last night that even Australia is going to, if this continues, will turn away from the US and rejoin the EU. Join NATO. Now, don't ask me how that's good, because it's North Atlantic. We're not even anywhere near the Atlantic, and we're not anywhere near Europe. But my guides were telling me last night that even Australia is going to turn to Europe and away from the US if this continues for much longer. And the reason why it continues for much longer is because it keeps getting ignored. Not by you guys, but by the majority. There's almost like this, trust my betters. But who gave them the why are they supposedly betters? They're not. We know that. They're showing us that they're not. Okay, so we've got the Ten of Wands, the burden, the chaos, the burden of what they've done, the burden of their plan. Be careful what you wish for, because it'll just turn into a mess. And then we've got the Seven of Pentacles, the inability to harvest the money and an ending. And then being forced to surrender with the Nine of Wands, as everything changes and the devil is stopped. Oh boy, yeah, it feels like it's going to have to reach this point. It's like, bloody hell. Okay, excuse my cussing. Right, so I want to have a look to see whether the EU will follow through on this threat. Because it's just got this feel of, what's the last resort? Yeah, you've got the world here. The world is it's end of the devil era. The stealing, the betrayal, the slyness. But the rest of the world's looking on, going, what is it? What is it that's going to be the last? And it's going to be whatever triggers the people, the majority of people. And I'm not talking 21 million, I'm talking 200 million. Now, who was I listening to that pointed it out? Might have been Susan Lynn and Afefe doing a live the other day on Susan and Touched by Tarot, Susan Lynn and Touched by Tarot's channel, talking about historically with Russia. And revolution astrology apparently is hot on Russia's chart at the moment. Every single revolution that they've had in Russia and in France and in wherever else, you have these sort of revolutions, those in charge never see it coming. it's like everything they get away with emboldens them. And so they do more and more and more and more until the rubber band breaks and they are then tossed out, but they don't see it coming. Okay. While I'm talking, there's that card again. While I was talking about revolution, I'll just do a quick spread on that, and then I want to ask whether Europe's going to pull the trigger. There is this naivety, this wanting to take it back to the 1930s Germany, looking to the past, but there's this naivety challenged by a huge opportunity that is being presented to change this. And this is a backward looking, this is forward looking. The strength of the stag is looking out from the card. The weasel is reduced significantly, but the stag holds the opportunity. Pentacles can mean money, they can mean, if I'm talking about elections, they can mean votes, documents, but more than anything, they mean physical opportunities and death. End of an era. In the past was the financial mercenary actions. Can also be incredibly slow moving to bring this opportunity here, because this Knight of Pentacles caught in the thicket, caught in the undergrowth, struggling to move forward. He's definitely not charging anywhere. And there's Miller again, crowning this reading. The wannabe emperor. The immediate future, the King of Wands. Some sort of leader coming forward. Now, I'm going to do a quick reading on Kelly versus Newsom. I hate to say it, love Newsom, what he's doing. I don't think, I don't get Newsom being president. So I'm not quite sure what he'll do with himself. He's absolutely brilliant at the moment, but I didn't know who, and I am wondering whether Kelly's the one. I know I would love it to be Harris, but I keep seeing her as something like Attorney General. And no, there's no conflict of interest because she doesn't actually prosecute. She gets special counsels, etc., to do that. This might even be the legislators growing a spine and standing up. They've gone to the locker room, dusted off their spines. A couple of them have inserted them. The rest are just looking at them with glazed eyes, wondering, do I risk it? Okay. Same cards, different order. Externally, the Hermit, the putting the United States into poverty by this isolation, shining a light on the snake in the path. It cannot be denied anymore. This document came out and said, let's align with Russia. Three of Pentacles, internally. There's a lot of hard work going on behind the scenes, alliances behind the scenes. Don't look at the surface and think nothing is happening. Pretty sure Hosley's not sitting on his haunches on his front porch, rocking back and forth, drinking a bourbon or anything, or drinking a lemonade. Okay. Hopes and fears. Inflammatory information coming forward, and the outcome, the best of democracy, the star. It is a crossroads for democracy in the United States. If they're talking about aligning with Germany, they're also thinking about Russia. They're also thinking about Russian-style elections where the Putin figure apparently gets 93% of the votes, so that he can claim that they were free and fair, but pretty sure they're not. It is a crossroads moment for the United States democracy, and the world is looking on. It is the end. What comes after? Well, it's also the end of an era. What comes after will be nothing like what has been before. The Constitution has pretty much been trashed. The method of government in the US has been proven to be non-functioning, or governance, I should say, on the federal level. Even on the state level with the gerrymandering, is proven to be non-functioning. It is the end of an era, but we are at this crossroads moment where the people have to take control. Right, we've got the Six of Pentacles. Those that have been grifting and getting making money out of this situation are Ten of Swords at an end as the truth comes forward. And then we've got the Temperance card, the detoxifying and the rebalancing. It is the end of the oligarchical era. We're nearly there. And the Ace of Wands, new plan, new beginning. You then have that Queen of Cups energy and the Star card. And the Tower card. Again, and Judgment. Look at these major arcana to finish with, and Judgment. And then, only then, Six of Wands moving forward, out of the nightmare, coming together. And then we've got the Queen of Wands as well. That might be when D&I Haynes presents the document about the election cheating, something unexpected out of left field about the false victory. Oh, on the bottom, yeah, there's Russia. Russia, Eight of Swords, so legally restricted, and the fading misogynistic partnerships. Eight of Wands, a lot of information coming forward about the hidden agendas. It's not hidden anymore, it's on full public view. And the Ace of Swords coming as well. Yeah, it's all telling me. Sorry I kept you down so long. It's just, hey, sitting in the dark up here. I've got the lights on, but it's just, look at the view. Beautiful view. So how is the National Security Council report going to the future of it? It's putting it out there front and center, no denying. Okay, I'm just going to grab the Golden Universal Tarot and have a look to see. Will, entertainment only. I mean, and as I split the deck, got Russia and then the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords is my Harris card, but it is also very much cutting through the BS. Cutting through the BS and bringing forth the truth on an internal level. It's a big wake-up call. Well, is Europe going to? We've got the Four of Swords, the Three of Wands, looking at the option, and then a harsh truth being brought forward, cutting through. Looking at the options, I don't want to, and then doing something unexpected. We've got I'll bring you down because it's so you can see. We've got there then the High Priestess, the higher path, new journey. Could be a lot of impacting information comes out, loss, disappointment. They don't want to. The World card, and then we've got the infighting. But they know if they do, it will trigger. And then we've got Judgment, and then we've got the Sun card. Presenting the lunacy out in the cold. I think they might. They don't want to. They're considering it with the Two of Pentacles. They're considering it. And then you've got the two Unity cards and coming together. Nightmare situation, but something really needs to change. Knight of Wands, bringing forward action. about the naivety of it all, the gift, also the gift in the past, forcing the regime to put its back up against the wall. Yeah, they don't want to, but this is what they're dealing with. Four of Cups, Devil. Moving forward into calmer waters. The higher authorities, the European Union, with its allies, whereas you've got the decrepit king and is facing relationships receiving a big stick. They don't want to because they know it would hurt the people of the United States. But they might feel that they have no option because will they? Will they? Entertainment only. Will they? Will the EU pull the trigger? I'm almost not game to turn them over. There's infighting about it, but there is going to be some huge wake-up call announcement to move this forward away from this devil energy. They don't. Oh, there's on the Sun card. Overseas, working together. So Sun, Two of Wands, they're just looking at all the options. They're discussing all the options with that Four of Wands. And then we've got the diplomat male leader coming forward. Eight of Pentacles, because part of that report also said, no, we're leaving NATO. Just a lot of work going on behind the scenes and seeing things from a different point of view. Seeing their own strength, the EU. I don't think they realise their own strength because they always just use the US as the backstop. And the feeling of betrayal. So, and here's the orange twerp, Three of Wands, coming in from overseas, and the orange twerp. And his regime, it's going to be untenable. And it may even take them by surprise. We've got a lot of information coming out, or a lot of negative information hitting, and it's to do with money. Actions having consequences. The Fool card, disappointment, Five of Cups for the Emperor, as the EU may simply walk away. Yep. It's on the cards. It's very much on the cards. It's like, okay, we've told you. I think they will do it if gosh, what did I just see there? The Tower card. They will do it if things don't change. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Love to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.